The lecture titles is Lipids. Biomedical importance. The lipids are heterogeneous compounds, include fat, oils, steroids, waxes, and related compounds such as fatty acid. The physical properties of this compound: relatively insoluble in water. Number 2, soluble in nonpolar solvents such as ether and chloroform. The importance of lipid not only for high energy value, there are many important roles in the body, like high energy value. Number 2, fat soluble vitamins. Number 3, essential fatty acid. Number 4, thermal insulator. Number 5, nonpolar lipid act as electrical insulators. Number 6, combination of lipid and protein give us lipoproteins compound, important cellular constituent occurring both in cell membrane and in mitochondria, and serve also as the mean of transporting lipid in the blood. So, knowledge of lipid biochemistry is necessary to understand many important biomedical areas like obesity, diabetes mellitus, atherosclerosis, and the role of various polyunsaturated fatty acids in nutrition and health. Lipid classification can be classified to two main types: simple lipid and complex lipid. Number 1, simple lipid. The simple lipid is ester of fatty acid with various alcohols. This type contains two subtypes. A, fat. Fat, ester of fatty acid with glycerol. The type oil are fat in the liquid state. So the fat contain glycerol, this is glycerol, and fatty acid. Fatty acid may be saturated or unsaturated. Simple lipid is nonpolar lipid. Number B, waxes. Waxes is esters of fatty acid with higher molecular weight monohydric alcohols. So we have alcohol and ester bond with fatty acid. The fat and oil, the alcohol is glycerol. Glycerol contains 3 hydroxy group. This type wax contains 1 hydroxy group. So this is fat, this is wax, contain alcohol, and this is fatty acid. This is wax. This is another example. Also may be saturated or unsaturated. Number 2, complex lipids. Complex lipids is esters of fatty acid contain group in addition to the alcohol and fatty acid. So it contain simple lipid contain esters and fatty acid. Complex lipid contain ester and fatty acid and another group. So complex lipids contain many subtypes. Number A, phospholipid. Phospholipid contain phosphoric acid residue. They frequently have nitrogen containing base and other subunits. Example, glycerophospholipid, the alcohol is glycerol, and sphingophospholipid, the alcohol is sphingosine. So we have two subtypes, glycerophospholipid, the alcohol is glycerol, sphingophospholipid, the alcohol is sphingosine. This is complex lipid, phospholipid, contain, this is glycerol, this is fatty acid, two fatty acid, also may be saturated or unsaturated, and phosphate group. So phosphate group is polar part. So complex lipid is contain polar part and non-polar part. This part hydrophilic head and hydrophobic tails. So phospholipid is the major constituent of cell membranes. Like this, contain polar part and non-polar and can arrange in the aqueous solution. Like this, the polar part outside and non-polar inside. Number B, glycolipid, glycosphingolipid. This type of lipid contain fatty acid, sphingosine alcohol, and carbohydrate. Number C, other complex lipids, lipids such as sulfolipid and aminolipid. Lipoprotein may also be placed in this category. So we have example on glycolipid. This is galactose, and this is alcohol sphingosine, and this is fatty acid. So we have complex lipid, glycosphingolipid. This example, galactocerebroside. We have galactose, and we have fatty acid and sphingolipid. This lipid present in the nerve system. Glycolipid may be occur in the cell membrane like this lipid with glycolipid, sugar residue and lipid residue to form glycolipid in the cell membrane. This is cell membrane and this is glycolipid. This is protein. This is glycoprotein, and there is also glycolipid. Number 3, precursors and derived lipids. This type include fatty acid, glycerol, steroids, other alcohol, fatty aldehyde, and ketone bodies. Also, lipid-soluble vitamins can be classified in this type. Because there are uncharged in acylglyceride and cholesterol esters are termed neutral lipids. Fatty acids are considered hydrocarbons compound contain carboxylic group. So it's called fatty acid, contain carboxylic group. If the fatty acid saturated acid and in enoic end, like octanoic acid. If the fatty acid unsaturated acid with double bond, the name end in enoic acid. Example, octadecanoic acid or oleic acid. So the number of carbon numbered from carbon contain carbonyl group, number 1, and so on, number 2, 3. Sometimes we called alpha, beta, and gamma. The last carbon we called omega. So we have omega 3, omega 6, omega 9. This is example on fatty acid contain 18 carbon atoms and one double bond. The location of double bond is in number 9. So can we write fatty acid as a number, the number in first order, the number of carbon atom. So we have 18 carbon atom. Number 2, number in order 2, there is the number of double bond. We have one double bond. The third number order represent the location of the double bond. We have the double bond on the location on carbon number 9. There is another example. Linoleic acid. We have acid group. This is alpha carbon and this is beta gamma. The last one is omega. So if we want to number the carbon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this is the location of double bond. So if we have omega, we calculate from the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. We have omega 6 fatty acid. Omega 6 fatty acid. This is also, we have 3 double bond in fatty acid. The location of double bond 9, 12, 15. This is from the end 1, 2, 3. We have omega 3. The fatty acids may be further subdivided as following. Number 1, monounsaturated, monoethanoid, monoenoic acid contain 1 double bond. Number 2, polyunsaturated, polyethanoid, polyenoic acids contain 2 or more double bond. Number 3, eicosanoids. This compound derived from eicosa mean 20 carbon atom, polyenoic fatty acid like prostanoid, leukotrienes, and lipoxenes. Prostanoids include 3 types: prostaglandins, prostacyclins, thromboxanes. This compound acts as a local hormone. They have important physiological and pharmacological activities. They are synthesized in vivo by cyclization of the center of the carbon chain of 20 carbon eicosanoic polyunsaturated fatty acid. This fatty acid called arachidonic acid to form a cyclopentane ring. So, series of compounds, thromboxane, have the cyclopentane ring interrupted with an oxygen atom, oxane ring. The ring contains oxygen. The eicosanoid fatty acid give rise to 3 groups of eicosanoids characterized by the number of double bonds in the side chain. So we have prostaglandin 1, prostaglandin 2, prostaglandin 3. The number represents the number of double bonds. So different substitution group attached to the ring give rise to series of prostaglandin and thromboxane labeled A, B, C. So example on E, prostaglandin E type as a prostaglandin E2 has a ketone group in position 9, whereas the letter F, prostaglandin F, we have hydroxyl group in this position, number 9. So prostaglandin E, we have ketone group. In prostaglandin F, we have hydroxyl group. Also, leukotrienes and lipoxin, they are type of this compound derived from lipoxygenase pathway, work as a pro-inflammatory mediator. This is example on prostaglandin E2. This is, we have a number 9, we have ketone group, prostaglandin E2. We have 2 double bond and we have ketone group. Thromboxane, we have oxane ring, this oxane ring, and we have 2 double bond on 2. So leukotriene, we have 4 double bond, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 double bond, and we have oxane ring. Most naturally occurring unsaturated fatty acid have SS double bond configuration. So the double bond has configuration cis or trans. The all natural fatty acid are cis configuration. Synthetic give me trans configuration. So this is chain. If we have saturated fatty acid to form zigzag pattern on the chain, we have free motion, and if we have 2 double bond, the orientation depends on the configuration of the double bond. So we have example in the next slide. This is configuration for 2 fatty acid. This with cis double bond, and this is with trans fatty acid. So if we have cis double bond, the configuration angle between them, and this is trans configuration. This table gives me example on unsaturated fatty acid present in the nature, like this is the number of carbon atom and number of double bond and the location of double bond. This fatty acid have 1 double bond, this fatty acid have 2 double bond, and so on. This fatty acid have 3 double bond, this fatty acid contain 5 double bond, this fatty acid contains 6 double bond, and this is the location of double bond. This is example on the complex lipid. We have glycerol and phosphate group and fatty acid, and another group conjugate with phosphate group. So maybe choline or ethanolamine or amino acid like serine conjugate with phosphate group to give me complex lipid. And complex lipid is polar lipid and maybe galactose. So steroids contain steroid nucleus molecules. We have 4 cycles A, B, C, D. This is the nucleus of steroid, and the example is cholesterol. This is cholesterol, 3-hydroxy 5,6 cholesteins. Cholesterol contain OH and double bond and isoprene units. Ergosterols is a compound precursor of vitamin D because when it radiation with ultraviolet light convert to vitamin D. This is ergosterol structure. present in the human under skin. When he is exposed to light, convert to vitamin D. Biosynthesis of